And that now, I think this year, from the past few years, we've saw more schools involved.
Yes.
So our students are achieving, and from different schools. And, we have the expectations, School 28, though, those students are absolutely phenomenal, and we want to continue to encourage them. But, some people in the community, oh, well, School 28, that's your gifted and talented school. It's a blue ribbon school, But when you start seeing that, these students are still achieving and they're doing phenomenal, but that you have other schools, who are achieving just as well. When you have students from throughout the city, coming to get their certificates as well. It's not just one school. It's not just everything is been put in that place. It's not just those teachers. No, it's the curriculum that's been established. And I know Deputy Superintendent Perone has said it, so she's blue in the face. Once we get a curriculum, it'll take some time to see the changes. Because, kids change. They go to a different grade level. And it's a catch-up until you got the new curriculum established, which we actually have a curriculum,
Yes.
which I think the community sometimes didn't understand, that before the last 3 or 4 years, we didn't have a standard curriculum in Patterson Public Schools. So a kid could learn something in School 5 in the 5th grade, and in School 18 in the 5th grade learn something completely different. It was definitely something that was hurting us in standardized testing. But to see that now we have a curriculum that's been established, it's been in the district for 3 years, and you're starting to see the students achieve. And we see these standardized testing and those scores, every spring or every fall, and then the perception of all of our students is that they're not achieving, that they can't achieve. And that is the most frustrating thing, because you do see all their achievements on a day-to-day. When you sit in front of a computer for 7 hours, it's different than when you are taking your test on a regular week, that you are performing beautifully, that you have the arts, and then you have them come to board meetings or to meetings at the school district, and you see them speak in front of a microphone, and you see, there's something that's not adding up. Mm-hmm. These test scores are not just the definition of our kids. And then you see the amount of kids that we had last week with perfect score, and that number, and that category continues to increase, and there's a representation from the entire city. And then you see the performance, and you see the artists. Like, our kids are so much more. They're so talented. And there's more than that testing. Not saying that testing is not important, but there's so much more to Patterson than just that.
And in a way, it relates back to what you said earlier, which I really salute you for bringing up. And at the end, it's like, when you live and work in a city as diverse as this, mm-hmm. and when race can be an issue, religion can be an issue. But even with what you're speaking about in terms of really understanding who the Patterson Public Schools students are, it really comes down to a question of just, we have to recognize each other's humanity.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that really seems to have fueled your leadership, kind of a guiding light,
You see it when you go into a school and you see the smiles on the children's face, just to see that they have somebody that looks like them, that is from here, that understand. The first year, I think, when we became leadership, I think in the mall, and I want to say School 14, the students from School 14, they were going to the movies, and they was just excited to say, oh, that's her. The picture is in my school. And when you get to hear it and you see it, when they get to see,
pay attention to
yes,
those
they
pictures.
do. Yes, they do. When you get to see them, and they're so excited to see that you're real, instead of just being a picture on the wall.
Right.
It holds you to another standard. It makes you even go hard for them. It makes you want to work even harder to accomplish some things for them. We know there's a lot of challenges with our students that come in here, especially financial. Some of the times when they go to schools, those teachers are some of the parents that they deal with on a day-to-day basis. Those teachers become much more than teachers; they become parents, right. And we have to have that reality. We're not like every suburban area. We deal with our other issues besides that, but we try to make sure that what we can give them, we give them. A lot of times when the students come into our school districts, that's the first meal that they have of the day, and sometimes the last meal that they have of the day when we walk out of those doors. So we try to be mindful that we are making sure that we're attending to all their needs, and not just educationally, but just also rounded individual, and trying to make sure that they understand that we do understand the challenges that they go through, and then some of the challenges the parents go through. It's exciting when we opened up our new full-service community center. where you have parents coming in and learning different things that they can learn with the students. My mom took one of the classes, the sewing classes now that's being offered there.
Which
So,
one?
the sewing classes that we're offering. And I think that's good because you get parents that come from all over the district, or either students from all over the district that want to learn, and they tell you about their backgrounds and where they're coming from. So we kind of get together in it.
Yeah, and you know what? Race is definitely a challenge in the city of Patterson, but not when it comes to the kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Amen.
they don't care. They don't care where their friend came from. You know, you don't care what language they speak at home. You know, and you start seeing that in our students. You know, and it, I guess to me was a little bit differently growing up in the city of Patterson. You know, in my mind before running for the school board, race wasn't necessarily a topic of conversation. You know, my friends are diverse. We hang out, we have food, we go to the movie, we do things, but it was never, you know, why you're different. It's not those conversations. And I see that in a lot of our students, you know, whether they're dancing, you know, dancing Spanish music if they're not Hispanic, you know, the foods that you eat, whether you're going to a Dominican, a Peruvian, a Mediterranean restaurant, our kids don't care what their friends look like. They're going to eat, you know, in classrooms, you know, their friends and partners and you know, as they're doing projects together. And these are genuine friends that are being built, you know, as babies, as 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, and that'll be there for a lifetime. But we've definitely focused on trying to find the challenges that they face overall. So whether it's that I'm going into, you know, a newcomers program, you know, at NRC, and it's, okay, their challenges, yes, language is a barrier, but they have other challenges that are the same of a student from school 18 or from school 6 or from school 4. They do have a lot of the same challenges. They live in the city. You know, it's why we along with the superintendent, implemented the breakfast program. So now we're offering the students breakfast, lunch, and dinner in some places, because just because you're from one side of town or the other side of the town doesn't mean that this could be your first meal. You know, it's a reality. It's why we have the full service community schools with the clinics, because it doesn't matter what side of town you live on. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have ever been to the dentist or have ever been to the doctor, or not even you as a child, but your parent. You know, we need to make sure that we have healthy parents to continue to take care of the children at home. You know, it's how do we partake, you know, whether it's ESL classes or sewing classes or cooking classes, is how do we build a relationship with the parent and the child, but how do we build a relationship as the community? Not mattering what you eat when you go home or what language you speak or what religion you practice. It's what can we do together. And it's why the arts have been very important. You know, music and arts is a way of joining the schools together. And not only just culturally, but even in age. You know, when we see Rosa Parks High School perform for the for the kids from School 24, you know, those kids are wowed because they think that the high school kids are, you know, so famous and they're so fantastic and they're so fabulous. But the fact that, and the schools, Rosa Parks High School, and it's just one that I've seen recently, how excited that when they attend a performance from the kids, they stand up and give them standing ovations. It's that encouragement that you have from one school to another, and from cultures and from backgrounds, and it's just trying to build the entire child. And when we focus on that is when our culture, our mentality starts to change and our vision changes, and it's how do we help all of our students get on an equal playing field as best as we can.
On the next episode, what is so great about being a Patterson Public Schools student? President Castillo and Vice President Redmon have a pretty good idea. After all, they are both former Patterson Public Schools students themselves. I hope you'll take a listen.